Well, today's one of those days why they call it an adventure. I started off uh, perfectly, getting out of the hotel around 8:30, hitting the road. Uh, I went about 160, 180 kilometers, and the GPS said take a left. So I took a left. Right when I took a left, it said turn in 150 kilometers. And I'm thinking, okay. And I'm getting to go down the road, make a few little zigzags. Then all of a sudden, the GPS says something went wrong. And I couldn't get it started again. I have my maps downloaded, so I don't need Wi Fi for it to operate. Both Waze and maps weren't working. So I decided to turn around and backtrack to where it made me make that last turn. And when I turned around, I must have hit something on the edge of the road because my rear tire went instantly flat. Same one that was repaired the other day. Nobody had a tube. So I was in the middle of a crossroad. They had a few little huts, and oh, I talked to the people, and down the road, about 400 or 500 meters, was a mechanic that he was closed for the day, but they managed to get him stirred up. He came out and he took my tire off, took the tube off, and went down the road. Came back about 30, 40 minutes later. He couldn't find a tube. So he did the best he could to patch it and get me on the road. Well, I get back on the road, and I decided to just go in the last direction that Google had suggested. So I get going. I go about 20, maybe 25 kilometers down that road, and it's desolate. And all of a sudden, my rear tire went flat again. And I'm talking about no houses to be seen as far as you can see. It's the first flat, straight road I've been on, and nothing. So I started pushing the bike, walking in the direction I was, hoping to come across a home. Some guy passed me up, and he pointed at my rear tire and, said, made like it was flat, like I didn't know I'm pushing the bike. So I push it about a kilometer, and I come up to this little house, and a lot of these people have little stores they run out of their houses for the neighbors and whatnot. So I pulled up in there, and there was a gruff but kind old fella, and I explained my situation. He called the local mechanic and talked to his son, who said that he was out of town working on another house. And so I asked if there was a record truck that he could call. He called a record truck. The nearest town was 30 kilometers away. And the record truck guy said, nah, I ain't coming there for no American. And then, so that pissed off the guy that's helping me. He says, we want foreigners, and foreigners come here, and then when this happens, no one wants to help. And so he got on the phone, made 4 or 5 phone calls, and then about an hour later, he finally connected with a mechanic from a town about 30 miles away, where I am now, in the opposite direction also. And the mechanic came with a tube, which was exactly what we needed. He cut the other tube, made a lining for the rim, so the spokes wouldn't cut into it. I think that he's probably right. That's probably what was doing it. Put the new tube in, pumped it up, and I showed him some money and said, take what you want. He grabbed 150,000, which is $6. And I thought, well, man, this dude just drove 30 miles, brought a tube, and so I tried to give him a 500,000, but he wouldn't take it. So I gave him an additional 100, which made it $10. And He escorted me almost back to where I was going for the hotel, because I try to make it a policy not to be on the road after dark. So I had to go in the wrong direction. So I get here to this town. First hotel I went to was closed. Then I come to this place I'm staying now. It's not a bad hotel. It's $6 a night, and it's not a bad room. It's relatively clean. But the lady at the desk, she shouldn't be in hospitality. I went up in there and asked him if there was room, and she said no. So I started to leave, and then the man came. He was leaving as I was pulling in, but he pulled back in his car. He said, "What's wrong?" I said, "She says there's no room." He says, "There's rooms." So he got me checked in. No elevator, on the second floor. I'm pooped as hell. They insist you take your shoes off, and they want you to put them in a locker. I brought my shoes up to my room. And then I look around, there's no hot pot. Almost every hotel has a hot pot, because I didn't feel like going out to get something to eat. I'm bushed. So I go downstairs and ask her for a hot pot, and the lady says, "No hot pot. None. No hot water." I said, "Well, there's got to be hot water." "No hot water." I said, "All right, well, let's check out. I'm getting out of here. Give my money back." So all of a sudden, she shows me this little hot water maker, and I said, "Okay, you got a thermos?" She said, "No, you bring cup downstairs." So I came up to the room. I grabbed a water bottle, and I went back down there to fill it up with hot water. She come around the corner and says, "You can't use that. It's gonna melt. It's too hot," which is probably right. I said, "All right, well, you got something for me to bring water with?" She said, "No." So I looked around, and this is actually their kitchen where the people live. This is how these hotels are. They live in them, and then they run them. So I looked around her kitchen. I grabbed a pot. She come around the corner and gave me a look from hell, and she showed me a little, like a warm water spigot. I said, no, I want hot water." She gave me a look, walked off. I filled her pot up with the boiling hot water, and here I am. Now I'm, like I said, 30, 40 miles in the opposite direction, which I got to drive again tomorrow, and get back on the road. But it's an adventure. Remember that.